Hi, my name is Melanie Spence, and this is going to be the benchmark for CST-339. So for the agenda of this presentation, we're going to be doing a technical overview of the site. We're going to be talking about the teamwork used. We're going to give a quick demonstration of the website itself, and then we're going to go into a brief closing. So some of the objectives for this site was that we created a register and login page. We had our products have create, read, update, and delete, also known as CRUD functionality. We implemented a REST API. We added Spring security. And finally, we created accurate design report and documentation. So functional overview of our website, we created this website called Game+1, which allows users to create and log into an account. Once they're logged into their account, they can create a game to add it to their collection. Creating a game includes many properties, including the name, publisher, image, and more. And then once a game is created, a user can view the details of this game on this card display. Additionally, users can update and delete games on their list. And then there's also a REST API that has numerous API endpoints that can view all created games, view the user's created games, and view one game by its game ID. And finally, a person can only access the register and login site when they are logged in, and this is when Spring Security goes into place. So for a technical approach, these are some of the different elements we use. So for our framework, we use Java Spring Boot. We also implemented TimeLeaf. For our design pattern, we use the N-layer design. We implemented Spring Security to secure those pages. To access data and store data, we use SQL relational databases and Spring Data. We also use logbook logging for logging errors, and we implemented the Agile methodology. For our user experience and design, we use full-on Bootstrap. This is including Bootstrap for a navigation bar and Bootstrap modals. For our technical design decisions, we wanted to use industry standard for all of our things. So for our UI, we're using industry standard Bootstrap. For our framework, we're using Java Spring Boot. For our agile software, we use Jira by Atlassian. For our design pattern, we're using N-layer design. API design, we use Swagger. And for code collaboration, we use Git with GitHub. For object-oriented design, we wanted to implement this because object-oriented design has a lot of advantages. Object-oriented design allows for modularity, which is easier to troubleshoot. It allows for reuse of code through things like inheritance. It is an effective solution for problem solving, and it creates intuitive solutions. It adds flexibility because of polymorphism. And we have composition to create objects of other classes within a class, which once again helps with code reusability. Here's an example of our object-oriented design in a UML design. In this object-oriented example, this is going to be for our product. So we have our product repository there, and that's going to be a Java interface. And inside our product repository, we have like different methods that's going to help us query our database. Our data service implements that product's repository. Our product business service implements our data service and is based off of a product's business interface. And our REST service implements the product business service interface so we can query those products. And so these all work really well together. So now we want to talk about the teamwork aspect. Teamwork is a really important part of coding. It allows different team members to work together. All of our assignments were done in a CLC, which means we did it with one other person. So me and my partner worked together to create this amazing site. And some of our collaboration software that we use were Git and GitHub. This allowed us to share code between the two of us. We used different branches, and we dealt with merge conflicts. Additionally, we use a Scrum methodology. This includes me creating user stories and finishing epics. And for our software, we use Jira at Atlassian. And finally, to create effective documentation, we use Microsoft Word Online. So for Agile Scrum, we use, of course, Jira and Atlassian. So I wanted to kind of show off kind of an example of us utilizing the software. So as you can see on the left, we have a list of all our epics. Additionally, on the right, we have a sprint up. And inside the sprint, you can see the user stories that are across a Kanban board. This allows us to assign ourselves user stories, which represents the work we need to do. And we can move it across the Kanban board so we can determine how far along everyone is inside their project. One thing that we added to our Kanban board is something called team review. So inside this category, you can move your user story to the team review, and then your team member can review it and then move the story all the way to done. So this is kind of like an additional step of review, so you get that extra pair of eyes on something. This is kind of similar to what you can do in GitHub, where you can request review before you merge branches. We want to kind of implement that with our user stories as well. So things that went well were GitHub branches and code reviews. We kept those up and maintained good code contributions. Our Agile, Scrum, and user stories were well documented. We stayed on task and all time. Everything was turned in. We had a good division of work, and we kept accurate separation of tasks, and which contributed to our equal contribution efforts. Things that we need to improve on was preventing branch merge conflicts. We just wanted to make sure that we had more separation of concerns when we were both working on code together. We had some issues with conflicting schedules for Zoom meetings as we were both pretty busy college students, but we were able to meet up after some rearrangements of times. And then we want to eliminate technology troubles. Anna's computer had a little crash. Java Spring Boot likes to crash my computer occasionally, so just try to keep those to a minimum. So now I want to give a quick demonstration of the site itself. So let's go out here, and here's the website itself. So it's just going to show off some of its features and functionalities. So I'm going to register a user. I'm going to call him Bruce Wayne. Say he's 30. Batman@gmail.com. Phone number, we'll say it's 181-5555. I don't know. B Wayne. Actually, his username could be Batman. Password. Actually, password. I get great password. We can submit this and say, hey, register success. Welcome to Scrum. So now we're going to log in. Let's log in with an incorrect password first. Invalid login. Now we can log in validly. And as you see, Bruce Wayne has no products. Let's add a product for him. We're going to call Batman Arkham Knight. Arkham. Publisher. Look into the game itself. Here we go. I don't really know what this is, so we're just going to say, I think it's a Rocksteady Studio. I think it's an adventure game. It's rated teen, I believe. Bam. We're going to copy image address. Platform, we're going to say it's on PC. If it's not, it's on more. There's the image URL. Description. Fight as Batman to save Arkham. How is Batman the Arkham Knight? Okay. Now we can create this game. So then you can see our game has been created, and then we can edit this game. So I'd say I have type of, let's say it's Rocksteady Studio, and then let's also say if I have the Arkham Knight to save the city. We'll update our description. We click edit. As you see, it has been edited. And then let's add one more product. I already keep on videos. We'll add Breath of the Wild. We'll get, that's not good. Let's add Link's Awakening. Create product. Links. Nintendo, genre, adventure, rating. I think it's everyone. Nintendo Switch. Paste. A remake of a classic. We have our two games here. You can see that they pull over X cards. Then we can delete a game. So we can delete this game and ask for confirmation. We're going to say no. We're going to delete this game. Ask for confirmation when we say delete. So you see delete's working. And finally, we show off a REST API. So we're going to go server/get products. And as you can see, we have all the products in the database. So these have different user IDs. So these are the products that aren't just mine. So now we can get my products. As you see, this only gets my products. And then we can get one product, get product /4, and it'll get the one product with the ID of 4. So now let's go back to my products. As you can see, we have an error with our URI. And then we can log out. And now just to show off Spring Security, something, and it takes us back to the login page. Awesome, so that's going to be a nice functional demonstration. Let's now want to talk about limitations, bugs, and issues. So users cannot view other lists of other users' games lists, and user cannot update their own profile, and there's no admin functionality. And then there's an error when you edit a product that shows on all the models rather than specific product models. So when you get a little error message on when you mess up on editing a product, like if you don't put a product name, and it shows up on all the edit modals rather than just the one related to that product. So in closing, I just want to thank you all so much for watching. This has been a great semester. I learned a lot about Java and Java Spring Boot and the framework itself. It's a really powerful framework, and I enjoyed my time using it. And so thank you so much, Professor, for a great semester. And I look forward to having you again, I'm sure, in the future.